Hey, it says this hangout is on the air. Good morning. Or yeah, well, it's still morning in Chicago. Larry, are you in Chicago, buddy? And welcome everybody to Lunch with Laura and Len. And we thought we would talk today about getting organized a little bit. But first, let me shut up. Laura, you got anything you want to say?
Oh, no, just, hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Hi, Larry. Hope you're doing all right. It feels kind of weird that we don't see him because we do the team calls in the morning. So I'm looking for him. I don't see his picture even. So anyway, glad you're here.
What did you do to your Gravatar, Larry? You need to go back to Gravatar and put a picture up with what email address you're using right now. And I had occasion yesterday to go back to because I had to teach somebody how to use Gravatar, so I had to go back and remember it myself. And that's what you got to do. I think you changed your email address last week, so you got to go back to Gravatar and just enter a new email address and put a picture up with that email address. Or maybe you don't want a picture. Maybe you don't want us to see you. You have it on your email? Okay. Where's Chris today? My goodness. Everybody's ignoring us today. All right. We want to talk a little bit about getting and staying organized. And I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm going to come clean and admit, one of the reasons we're talking about it is that it is, I find it to be a very serious challenge in this network marketing business of getting and staying organized. One of the reasons I find it to be a challenge, and listen, I don't have a lot of slides or anything today, but we're sort of going to talk about some strategies and concepts. One of the reasons that I have an issue with it is that there's so much to do. When you get up in the morning, you sit down in front of your computer, and well, you got emails to answer, you got Facebook posts, you got we're supposed to post 3 to 5 times a day. We're supposed to be out putting things out on Twitter. Then we're syndicating in groups. And yada, 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 and it goes on and on and on. And then we're supposed to be contacting people and following up with people. And how many people did you contact yesterday? And how many people are you going to follow up with today? And who the hell are you supposed to call? And my head spins in circles sometimes. Hi, Chris. We were worried about you here. I was just about to send out air, sea, search, and rescue, wondering where Chris was. Hello, Linda. So anyhow, we thought we'd talk about some organizational strategies and ideas. And what we're going to do is we're going to share with you some of the things that we're using. And I'm going to be the first to tell you that we're not perfect. I mean, now maybe Laura is.
Nope, Laura's not.
And I'm still struggling with finding the best ways to do this, and especially when it comes to talking to potential clients. So let's just pretend, for example, we're going to open 5 new conversations a day on Facebook. Well, now what do you do with them? Well, you follow up with them. Well, how do you know who to follow up with, when to follow up? Because they're all at different times. You try to follow up with them and they don't answer you. This one answered you, this one didn't. This one's on the second follow-up, that one's on the third follow-up. This one went to a webinar, this one saw a video that drives me crazy. So I'm going to share some ideas with you. The first thing we're going to talk a little bit about, however, is the nightly ritual. I've become a really big believer in the nightly ritual of, the very sort of the last thing you do before you go to bed tonight is you plan tomorrow. And I don't mean to spend a huge amount of time planning tomorrow, but I mean jotting down the 1 or 2 or 3 things that if you just got those 2 or 3 things done, then you could feel like you had a very successful day. And of course, that means that when you get out of bed in the morning, that's what you want to do first. So we all have a tendency, and Laura, can you talk about eating that frog? We all have a tendency to push off the important things and do the trivial things first, and pretty soon the day is gone and we're going, what the hell did I do with it? I didn't get the things done that I needed to get done today. So what are the real profit-producing activities? What are the important things that you need to get to? Laura, you read the book by Brian Tracy called Eat That Frog.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's what he says is you have to learn to do the profit producing activities first, instead of all of the little easy things. And what he says is he teaches you to do that because, just like you said, if you're doing all the little things, the easier things first, then you get to the middle of the day or even more, the end of the day, and you still haven't done the real big thing, the one that could boost your business, the one that could do the most for you. And so,
Right.
yeah, he's and I tried it. It's not as easy as it sounds. I
No.
thought, wow, I read the book. All right, I'm raring to go. And it's a constant daily, you have to just be aware of it. And you constantly have to remember, and I love that, you have to remember to eat the frog first. Yeah.
What if you don't like frogs? Okay, we're going to come back and talk some more about that because it's an important issue. And so let's just put it on the side for a minute because one of the important profit producing activities is talk to people. And I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to assume that most of the people don't do that. So it's like I can't talk to them first thing in the morning. But what I do, and I don't get up at 4 o'clock every day, by the way, but what I do is that I do spend the first hour or so of the morning. And many of you have heard of Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning. In fact, he's got several versions. I believe he's got one that's The Miracle Morning for network marketers. We've heard of Brian Tracy's Hour of Power. And I'm a big advocate of setting some time aside first thing in the morning to meditate, do whatever you're going to do. And one of the things that you do with that time is that you think of all the things you're grateful for. You start your day with gratitude. And that, to me, that's very important. And you also may should revisit, can revisit. What are the 1 or 2 or 3 things, again, the most important things that you want to get done today? They are your must-dos. You got to do them. And then if you can't do them the first thing in the morning, then maybe what you need to do is schedule them. And we'll talk about scheduling in just a moment. But you put them on a schedule. Say, okay, the most important thing I got to do today is I got to follow up with Jane. I talked to her yesterday. I promised her I'd follow up with her today. She says she's available after 3 o'clock. So it's got to go on my calendar, high priority, 3 o'clock. I'm calling Jane. Thoughts, Laura?
I think that's a good idea. And I think that, it can be very cumbersome to remember every single thing that you have to do and follow up with. So personally, I switched everything of mine over to Google Calendar. And Google Calendar for me, I have many different things going just than, the business, because I have both girls have their own schedules. Then we have, our church schedule. Then we have a family schedule. And then I also have a schedule for my mom and dad so that my siblings can see what's going on with them. So that's helped me be organized as far as the schedule goes. And what I like about Google Calendar is you can also do reminders in there. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of synced up for me. So that's what I'm using.
Mm-hmm. And I think having some sort of a calendaring system is really vital if you're going to make this business work for you, and especially with somebody like yourself who's got so many other competing things competing for your time.
Yeah. Yep. But, it's funny that there's it's nice to be busy, but are you busy doing the things that really need to be done?
Yeah, that's of course always the important question now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the next thing, and there's Hal Elrod, there's Tony Robbins Power Hour, there's lots of good information out there. And if anyone is on here who has not read Miracle Morning, Hal Elrod's book, Miracle Morning, I would strongly recommend that you go get a copy of it and read it. It's a really, really great read, and it's an easy book to read. So the next thing that absolutely is essential to me is to have some sort of a daily method of operation. There's lots of different ways to do this, and I'm going to do a screen share right now, and I'm just going to share with you a couple of things that I have done and work for me. They may not be, and I'm not saying that they're going to work for you. They may or they may not. I don't know, but one of the things that I have is um, here's the DMO that I did. I did an Excel spreadsheet for myself. And please don't try to copy this, but I mean, you're welcome to have it if you want it. But I did a spreadsheet for myself starting at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I broke it into half-hour intervals. And I mean, the very first thing I do when I get out of bed, and I'm not going to read this whole list to you, so don't panic. But the very first thing I do when I get out of bed, whatever time it happens to be, is it's actually the third thing I do. The first thing I do is go potty. The second thing I do is push the on button on the coffee pot. And then I do my Tai Chi. While the coffee's making itself, I do my Tai Chi and stretches. And that's on my calendar, and it's inviolate. I mean, I do it every day. And then I spend the next hour or so with personal development. That's when I do my reading, and this morning I was listening to Wayne Dyer, whatever I'm doing, and then it goes from there. I got my Coffee with Len video on the schedule. Now, and I've done the schedule out for 7 days. So, for those of you who know Excel, this is an extremely simple thing to do, is to make yourself a little Excel spreadsheet and just put down what are some of the most important things that you want to get accomplished. Like, I want to do my Coffee with Len video every day, and so it's on the schedule every day. And then I do actually manage to go back and look at my schedule once in a while and make sure that I'm actually doing the things that I need to be doing. Now, another thing that I've done, actually it's on the same sheet. Another thing that I've done is I've simplified that, and I've just made what I'll call an early morning list. So it's not quite as cast in concrete as I do my Tai Chi at 4 o'clock, but the Coffee with Len video is on my list. Gets done every day. The video's got to get rendered, posted to Facebook fan pages, distributed, etc. So I've got this little list of things that I can just browse down the list. And if the sequence of the list gets interrupted by a phone call or something, which it does, then I can still just browse the list and make sure that I picked up all the important things. So I've got a little early morning list, and then I want to email my email list every day. So this is what the topic is going to be every day. I'm going to do a new blog post 3 to 5 times a week, and I've broken it up into what do I want to write about on these individual days. So
we lost you.
Stop the share. So I'm back. Now, I'm not going to tell you that that's as cast in concrete as it may appear to be. It's really more of a prompt. I've got everything written down. I can pick up my list, I can look at it, and I can make a decision on a daily basis. Am I doing a blog post today or am I not? And I can say, no, that's not going to get done today because I have other things that need to get done. So, Laura, you got anything to add to any of that?
Well, I think the idea here is to just start out with something, but be flexible and adapt to things that come your way. And I use a weekly activity sheet, and I also use a bullet journal. And my weekly activity sheet is it has the major things that I know that I needed to do. And my bullet journal has things that might pop in that may not be every day. They might just be weekly. So I use the two kind of together. But I think the biggest thing is just we have to be flexible. And if you do this, which you should be doing this, if you do it right, you can figure out what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have something on your schedule and for, just it's on there for a couple of weeks, but you never get to it, well, then you have to really figure out if it's even worth it to do it at all, or if it's worth it to figure out where it does work in your schedule. And do you have to make it a priority over something else that's that's just, you know, not making you money.
Right, right. And if you look at that schedule that I just had up a few minutes ago, I had blog posts on there 5 days a week, and I have not been blogging 5 days a week recently. I'm very, very much aware of that, and that's actually a conscious decision. I've backed off on how many blogs I'm doing recently because I needed to open up some more time to talk to customers, to talk to potential clients. I mean, it's that simple. You got to make these trade-offs, and once again, you've got to ask yourself, always be asking yourself, well, you know, if my objective is to make money with this business, what are the profit-producing activities? Where do I need to focus my attention now? And, you know, in the last couple of weeks, Brian Finale has had an MLSP webinar about the 5 pillars or 6 pillars of success. And I believe it was in those webinars that he talked about revisiting, maybe making a new DMO weekly. Just revisit your DMO and look at it at least on a weekly basis. And you know, it's a dynamic document. It's not you do it once and it's cast in stone. It's a dynamic document. It has to work for you. But I want to summarize those 3 things. If you spend a few minutes at night planning what you're going to do tomorrow, the most important things, and when I say a few minutes, I really mean it. We're all tired when we go to bed. We've all done way too much for one day. You know, when it's time for bed, it's not time. I'm not. My brain isn't functioning to sit there and do extensive planning. But it's maybe just simply jotting down the 1 or 2 things that you know that you really want to get these done tomorrow. You got to talk to Sally tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You know, that's it. It's, you know, whatever else happens, that's got to happen. So, you know, what are the profit-producing activities? And we all know there's only 2 profit-producing activities. It's talk to people and put out content value. And the reality is, talk to people is far more important than content and value. It's people. You know, the money you want in your bank account is in the pockets of those people. It's not in your blog post. The blog post is one way to get people to attracted to you, so they find you and they come say, hey, what are you doing? I want to talk to you. And that's fine. Talk to you. The important thing is talking to people. And so when you got to trade that off, when you got to trade off doing a blog post or something with talking to a customer, you know where the priority is if you want this business to work for you. So, you know, a little planning the night before, up in the morning with your power hour, your meditation, and taking care of yourself, and then a little planning and your gratitude, and a little planning for the day. What are the important things? Reviewing the important things you want to get done. Having a daily method of operation that is flexible, but has the important things on it. And you know, for those of you who haven't done this or don't have a DMO yet, this may sound like a lot of work, but the reality is it's not a lot of work. It really isn't. It's a lot more work to sit around all day trying to figure out what it is you should do next because you can't remember what it is you thought you should do today. I mean, you know, and that really does happen. And having a calendar, having important things on your calendar. And then remembering to look at your calendar is one of my. I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, I'm not. I screw this stuff up. The other day, I was sitting at my computer in the morning, and I got a message came through from a person, and the message said, "Gee, I'm sorry, I have to cancel our appointment this morning. Something came up," and I went, "Oh shit, what appointment?" It's like I forgot that I even had the appointment. So shame on me. And that's one of the things that having a calendar, and I've set reminders on my phone, I set them on my calendar, etc. So that's important. Laura, you got anything to add to that? We're gonna.
Well, no, I can say that I use, you know, when you say about having a DMO and how some people might think, you know, it might be a little difficult to do. And what we're doing, network marketing, and we're talking to people, and sometimes, depending on how busy you are, it's all about knowing the tools that will help you. So yeah, it's like you said, it's nice to post stuff, but face-to-face contact, talking on a video camera with somebody if you're not in the same city, or going to the store and just, getting to know people. Those are all things that, not everybody is going to react the same way. So using different strategies is always important. And that's the same that goes with tools. We're telling you about some of these tools because they might help you. They might not. But the idea is you really want to figure out which ones are going to work for you and which ones don't. Now, I can tell you, when I heard the story about missing your meeting, that's happened to me before too. And a friend of mine in network marketing, she mentioned the idea of having a calendar. And so I set it up. And I want to share with you what happened. So I set this calendar up. And by the way, it's you can do the free service, and it's called Calendly.com. So it's CALENDLY.com. You may have heard of it before. You may not have. But you can go in, and I was really excited to know that I can also.
You want to do a screen share and just take us out there?
I guess I could do that. Let's see. Okay. So you can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So there it is. Calendly. Yes. All right. So here it is. Calendly.com. Okay. Sign up. There is pricing. I'll go over that real quick. You have a basic one, a premium one, and a pro one. No credit card required. I did the base one. You don't have to, but this also syncs up with your Google Calendar. And because I'm using my Google Calendar, that was absolutely perfect for me. So when I log in, since it's hooked up to my Google Calendar, I can just log in with my Google account. There we go. So your free one will give you one calendar. Okay. You can do this differently later. Like you can say, 15-minute sessions, 30-minute sessions, 60-minute sessions, and so on. You can put it up however you want, or set it up however you want. But you just basically, you have a dashboard, and I believe, because I'm not in here that often, I think I did this one. Meet with Laura. View the live page. Let me view the live page. Okay, so basically, you set up the schedule. So you have to do a little bit of digging. You have to think about what are the times that you have nothing else going on. And if you don't have a Google Calendar, you just have to go through and you have to figure out what those are. Well, once you know what they are, then you can put in there when you're available. And so what happens is, let's say somebody messages you and says, hey, do you think you have, 20 minutes to help me with something? Then what I do is I just message them my link, which is calendly.com/Laura Slowinski. And when they get that link, they click on it. And when they click on it, they see when I'm available and what times. Now I'm going to try this because there it goes. Okay. So this is how it's set up. So they click on or put in calendly.com, Laura Slowinski. Here it is. There's me. Meet with Laura. It's a 30-minute one-on-one with me. Bring your notebook and get ready to meet. Click on the tab. And now here's where I find out what days are available. So I don't have anything left for today. Nothing available. But tomorrow, I can click on, yeah, tomorrow looks good for me. I click on it, and here's my times that are available. I have 5 times available. And so at that time, all I have to do is, you know, click on which one that fits my schedule. Now, when that happens, then I get an email, and the person gets an email. You know, I personally get the email, and so does the person. And now it's automatically set. It reminds the person, and you can set this up, it reminds them before the meeting. I believe I have it set up for a half an hour. So if they set an appointment with me a half an hour before my meeting, they get an email that says, you have a meeting with Laura Slowinski. Do you want to keep the meeting, or do you want to reschedule? And if they want to reschedule, they just hit the reschedule button. It takes them back to my calendar, takes the old meeting off. They pick a new one, and then I get an email that says, your meeting has been rescheduled. So that works for me. It seems to be pretty simple. Now, the things, am I still screen sharing, or did I stop it?
Nope.
Okay, so how that really helped me was 2 things. Now, when somebody is trying to friend request me, and or they want some part of my time, you know, unless they're on my team, sometimes I even do it for my team because I just don't know my schedule right away. That's the easiest way. So if I send them my calendar link, they click on when there's time available for me. And that way, my DMO, I can continue with what I'm supposed to be doing. And it just makes it so much easier. Now, if that person knows that they have to click on the link and figure out a time, I can tell you that the people who just think that's ridiculous, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be spending time with them. And that's what I've found. I found that the people who say, wow, she's willing to give me, you know, 30 minutes of her time, you know, and all I have to do is click on her calendar, well, that's pretty awesome. I'm going to go and do that. And those people who take the time to do that are the people that I'm going to spend my time with. And so I've found that it kind of weeds out those people that, I don't know, for whatever reason, they don't feel like they need to do that. Well, then that just tells me then that's just fine. So I like that idea. And the other idea I like is, let's just say something happens where the schedule changes, and that's okay. They just reschedule it and it's automated. So I think it's pretty cool, and so far it's worked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm debating, and I think we'll just stop it today. It's 12 o'clock already, and I was going to go into tracking, keeping track of potential clients, people that you talk to, people that you send videos to, or whatever, and et cetera, et cetera. And if we do a really decent job of that, it's probably more than a couple of minutes. We want to look at a couple of different ideas about how to keep track of people. So maybe we'll pick that topic up on Tuesday and just continue with how to get and stay organized on Tuesday. But the important message here is that if you're gonna work this business and be efficient with it, you got to use some of these tools to keep yourself straightened out and going in the right direction. Otherwise, it really does become overwhelming. And the second thing is that nothing beats overwhelm by getting into action. And people will I've talked to people who will say, well, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to do. Well, if you have a to-do list and a DMO, if you follow the principles of the Power Hour and the Miracle Morning, you'll know what to do next. You'll know what to do, and then you won't feel overwhelmed. You'll just do what's next on your list, I think, right?
Yeah, and I would say, you know, no matter what company you're with, part of that is they have a getting started list. So you can start there. That's a place to start. And then all this other stuff is also part of that. So it's a good idea to get organized for sure.
Alrighty then, we'll call it a day. Larry, Linda, Chris, thanks for coming. Does anybody have any questions? Or want to make any comments or suggestions before we close it out for today? Otherwise, we'll pick it up on Tuesday. Okay. So I know there's a lag between the chat and people chatting, so I don't really know.
We used to use the daytime back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? They serve a very useful purpose, and I actually made. I'll show you when we talk about tracking people. I actually made a page that looks like what you might have gotten in an old daytimer, but I do it online. So, hey, I'll share that with you on Tuesday. So we'll talk to you again. Thanks everyone for being here.
Bye, everybody.
I'm going to hit the stop broadcast. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.